And this week's Gabbing with Gibby. We got another good one that John has lined up. He is a native of East York, Ontario, one of the elite catchers in the history of Major League Baseball, a mainstay with the Los Angeles Dodgers, the New York Yankees, Pittsburgh Pirates, played for the Blue Jays from 2015 through 18. We'd love to welcome right here today Russell Martin to this week's Gabbing with Gibby. Russell, great to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for the intro. I'm getting a little red. I'm getting a little red now.
Well, there you go. And you're with a gentleman that you worked with and was on the same team with through some really glory years for the Blue Jays, Mr. John Gibbons, and you guys can reacquaint yourselves with each other after so much time.
Hey, Russell, I don't think he built you up enough with that introduction. You kidding me?
There were so many accolades. I didn't know where to start.
All I got to tell you is this, people listening out there, Russell was our backbone. He was the leader of our team. We had some prime players, right? Donaldson, Batista, Encarnacion. We were really loaded with superstars. But Russell was the kind of the go-to guy, the backbone. He kind of kept himself, but he put out some fires. He would I don't know how many guys I would ask. I never told him. I said, "Who's the guy out there?" I'd ask the lesser players because Batista would have said, "Oh, it was me," or Donaldson would say, "Yeah, it was me." I said, "Who's the guy on that clubhouse, man? Who's the main man?" And they all said Russell. And I knew that, but he made a huge difference in my career. So Russ, that was you. You kind of located, you did your thing, but you were the leader.
I appreciate that. I mean, as a catcher, it's kind of, you're a leader by default. You got to take care of your pitchers. And I guess there's good catchers. There's catchers who really, don't really. Some are a little bit more selfish and they just care about maybe their offense and things like that. But I kind of learned early that, one of my best offensive seasons in 2007 with the Dodgers, our team did horrible. And I got called out the next year in spring training, and one of the coaches was like, the only thing you care about is your hitting and your offense. And I really took it to heart because it's totally not true. The one thing I care about is winning, right? And whether you have a good day or a bad day, and that's the cool thing about playing a team sport. When you win, you feel good in the clubhouse. You're playing music, guys are in a good mood. So it was, and that was the thing for me is I kept guys in line because I just wanted them to stay focused on the task at hand, and that's to get W's. And if you do that, and if you get everybody, on the same page, and everybody wants to win, and all the other stuff kind of just gets in the way sometimes. You think about, your statistics or how you're playing or whatever. All that stuff is irrelevant because you should just be focusing on winning. And when you do that, it kind of just frees you up and it gives you a good team vibe.
Russ, that's so true. You played 14 years in the big leagues, right? I don't want to shortchange. It was 14.
Yeah,
I'm going to let you be humble, but I said, do you know how many years you went to the postseason? As the catcher, the catcher is the main cog on the team. I don't care what anybody says because it's understood. If you don't pitch, you got zero chance to get to the postseason, and the catcher's leading those guys. But 10 years, you went to the postseason 10 years out of 14 years. If that doesn't define a winner, I don't know what it is. It just it sums up what you just said.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the goal, right? I mean, the goal is to get to the postseason. Then, I've been to the postseason 10 times, but I've never been to a World Series. So, that's the one thing that I miss. But, it's a grind, 162 games, and just getting a chance to get to the postseason, every time you feel grateful for it. But you're right. I mean, as a catcher, you're every pitch, you're playing a part of it. And it's sometimes it's just normally all teams have good pitching. It's just getting the guys to understand themselves, knowing their strengths. And then as a catcher, it's figuring out, what's working that day and being able to like adjust on the fly. Cause it's a game of adjustments, right? It's like you can have a plan and then something happens where like, well, shoot, man, this guy doesn't have his slider today, or he doesn't have his changeup, or the fastball command isn't great, and it's like instead of forcing the issue, you gotta be able to adjust. And I feel like I did that really well, and I work well with my pitchers, and and throughout the season, it makes an impact. And plus, I put a lot of pride early on because I transitioned into catching after my first year of pro ball. And one of the main things was the receiving, receiving the pitches, getting a strike call here and there can really change a game. And throughout my career, I feel like that really, really helped out, the pitchers and the team.
Oh, there's no doubt. Hey, let me tell you, the big thing in baseball. Hey, what do you notice? Everybody catches on one knee now. Do you notice that?
A lot of catching on one knee.
Russ, I don't think I've seen anybody that's not, even with guys on third base, and it's like, everybody just. But my point is that, you know what? I had never seen anybody do this when you're behind the plate, right? You get down on your knees sometimes, nobody on base, whatever. But you had the flexibility and the mobility, but you'd take your glove would lower when that guy's about to release ball. I've never seen anybody catch a low ball so naturally like this, right? Most guys would catch it up here and take it out of the zone, You had that, and that's like, right. You kind of almost, you almost set the precedent for that because everybody look and go, damn, that ain't a strike. But you had that, that's a gift because a lot of guys can't do that. A lot of guys are just worried about catching the damn thing.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's just practice and it's something I was taught, early on is if the pitch is low, you need to be below the ball and bring it back up towards the zone. I'm just trying to funnel pitches back towards the zone. And the way to explain it is there are pitches that are working their way back into the zone that you're trying to work with. And then there's let's say a slider from a righty that's working its way out of the zone. Well, that's one that you kind of want to go get out in front and kind of stick and keep it from leaving the zone. And that's all I tried to do. If a pitch is working its way back in the zone, I'd funnel it back in towards the zone. And if it's working its way out of the zone, I tried to be either, just, I guess it's just funneling it back towards the zone. And I worked on it. And I guess through a lot of practice and feel, you get better at it. But I look at guys catch now, and there's a lot of good receivers out there now. I don't know if it's because teams are just looking for it or they're putting emphasis on it or whatnot, but there's a lot of good receivers out there. And when you got a good receiver behind the plate, it makes a huge impact on pitchers. You just look at their numbers, they can get better if a guy goes to a team who previously, the guy didn't have a really good receiver or whatnot, and then he goes to a team where the guy can catch his butt off. It's, it can, you can have some better numbers there for a pitcher for sure.
Well, you can make their career, but hey, nobody's done it better, man. I've seen a lot of good catchers. So
I appreciate you, Gibby.
Dude, you're kind of you're the poster boy, man, for crying out loud.
Yeah, Russell, what I want to talk to you about really, it's a different era, pitch clock, which is something you didn't experience during your storied career. How would a Russell Martin adapt to what's going on in the game today as a catcher with the pitch clock, but of course with the pitch com? It's a whole different way of playing the game.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know exactly how the pitch com works. I just think you press a button and the pitcher either wants to throw that pitch or maybe I think he has I don't know how it works.
But it's not the game. It's not the game. I was watching the other day, Chris Bassett, obviously very methodical pitcher with a wide selection of different pitches. He had problem his first two starts, and finally the other day he was just kind of like, I'm just going to let the catcher call it, because he was having so many problems in the beginning of that game. And then he settled down and pitched really well. So, that was just kind of my question to you is this game has changed so much with this new element.
So I know, I think Bassett was the one calling his own game at first, right? He was the one on the mound calling his own game.
Yes. And he couldn't do it.
There's some pitchers that are good at that and that can do it. And I'm not saying he can or can't, but what happens is, you can get compromised on the mound. Let's say you have you're getting a cheap hit here and there, and you're getting frustrated, and your mind, and then you have to call your own game. And sometimes you get compromised where it's the brain is not really thinking the right things, or you're not in a good headspace. And that's why I feel like the catcher is the best viable option to call the game, because he's not the one on the mound. You know, if the guy's getting shelled here and there, is like the catcher still can kind of keep his composure because he's not the one throwing the pitches, right? So he's just kind of trying to be like the conductor and trying to just manage that game that way. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know Bassett personally. But if he's got a ton of pitches, and I can see how it can be complicated when you throw in the added stress of like, I need to throw this next pitch, and I got 10 seconds to get ready to get set on the mound or whatever. That's crazy. Like I'm worried about when we get into August and September and these games are super meaningful. And then you see on deck, you got to match up. And then, like as a catcher, you're trying to think like, okay, what's the best pitch here in this situation? Like this is our season's on the line and I got 10 seconds and like, and if I don't make the decision in time, well, it's going to be a ball or whatever. Like that's really not what baseball is about. I like the fact that the pace is it's a better pace for the fan. It's fun until you make a wrong decision and then you regret it for the rest of your life. Well, it's because of the added pressure that's from the pitch clock or whatnot. So I think we can adjust, and there's a reason for it because there's a lot of sometimes wasted time in the game. But as we get in September, we get late in the season, I'm really going to be interested to see how the pitch clock's going to affect guys.
Oh, no doubt, man. You know what? It's especially, like you said, late in the game. The game's on the line, man. We go in the WBC, the final game, Japan against the U.S., the final at bat, right? Trout and Ohtani. It was almost like 30 seconds between each pitch. And nobody had a problem with that, because this is what like the greatest bat in history or something, And it played out the way, and see, I think they're trying to drive up the younger crowd to enjoy the game. They like the faster paced stuff. But nobody has a problem when the game's exciting, but how baseball can be a slow moving game when things aren't, and I think people get bored with that, but I agree with you. I think we're tinkering too much. The game we got to leave it natural as we can. Right. And, but I get,
I think it's tough. It's tough. I mean, they want to keep people interested in the game, and the new generation is definitely, the attention span is definitely not as long as it used to be. I feel like so, but
and you know what? Then they like to shorten the bases, right? There's the base paths are a little shorter now. Okay, so we're trying to help out the fans enjoy. We're going to help the runner out when we're trying to hurt the catcher, or what? I mean, what are we trying to do here? I mean, it's like. Hey, speaking of that, because there was a play that happened over the weekend, the Pirates and the White Sox, right? A slide at home plate. I don't know if you saw the play. I saw the tail end of it, but when they made the adjustment in the game, the Buster Posey rule, they called it. And my feeling was they tried to do that because injury wise, right? But I don't think that many guys were getting hurt, were they? Am I missing something in the history? Occasionally, but it's not like it was a common thing. Guys got hurt, was it?
Yeah, I like to look at those numbers to see how many guys got hurt at plays at the plate in recent years. I think it's something that you learned how to do. The only reason Posey got hurt is just like it was kind of like a short hop and he kind of bobbled the ball and he was really in a bad position. Like normally you would never want to leave yourself in the position that he was at and he was in when he got hurt. I understand that they're trying to, like, Buster Posey was a franchise, right? So like you risk one of those guys getting hurt, and that's not kind of what you want. And it's kind of the same way as how they're protecting the quarterback, right? And that's kind of creating issues too. You know what I mean? Like you don't know exactly like what you're supposed to do, and then you get in an awkward position, and that's how you get hurt, when you're kind of like uncertain. So and that's like that's what happens with guys plays at the plate sometimes now. They're like, can I hit him? Do I not hit him? Am I sliding? And then they get caught in between, and the next thing you know, one of your best players gets hurt, which injuries do happen, but it's I'm definitely biased because I love the plays at the plate. It was I thought there was probably one of the most exciting plays in the game.
It is.
And it's like the timing and if if you feel like the guy's gonna run you over, you get out the way, right? Like you're not just going to stay there and let the guy just, steamroll you over there. But some of the best plays I've ever had were those bang bang plays at the plate, and the guy's got to make a decision, like he's trying to score a run, and it's just that the one thing that can happen is when the ball's in the right field and you kind of lose sight of the runner, and if it's bang bang or the runner gets there just a fraction before you get the ball, that's when you can just get clobbered, and it doesn't happen very often, but it can. And I remember getting clobbered once, and I'm just glad the guy wasn't 250 pounds. But
Hey,
I might not be able to speak,
Hey, what's wrong with going up to your catcher and saying, like, whoever your manager, and say, hey, listen, I don't want you blocking the play. Hey, Buster, you stay out of the play, right? And if the guy scores, you score. Now you got that backup on the team, right? That the only reason he's in the big league because he's such a fundamentally good catcher, and that's part of his game. Hey, now you block the play, so it could be team to team, but we're
Right.
talking about the pitch clock and stuff. Say you get to the 7th game of the World Series, right? And you get, the winning one scores, and you got to send it to New York and say, well, did the catcher give him room to slide? Really? Instead of whether he actually tagged him before he hit the play. No, the judgment called some of these umpires, yeah, did he give him enough room to slide? Really, that's going to be the decision to win the World Series. Probably won't have, but you never know.
You never know. Yeah, you would hate for the World Series to be decided on a technicality of like a certain rule that they just changed or whatnot, or the guy's out of the box and he's taking a deep breath because of the World Series, and then he's getting called strike 3 because he wasn't back in the box in 8 seconds or whatever
Exactly.
it is. That would be, what a way to end the World Series. Fuck, great.
Exactly.
All the fans would be excited.
Hey, the commission will be happy. But anyway, hey, what do you watch the team much? You seen the team play much? I know it's just started, but any thoughts on the Blue Jays this year?
I haven't been watching that much. I know that it seems like offensively they've been doing pretty good. But I haven't really. I watched a couple games in St. Louis, and but since then I've been traveling a lot. So, what do you guys got? What do you guys got on the Blue Jays? Tell me a little bit about them.
This year for me, I've really become like a diehard Jays fan. A dynamic team, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, and they don't give up. That's one thing that I've noticed about the Jays is they don't give up, even when they fall behind. They're coming back. So I've been really impressed with the team, and I think it's going to be a great season for the Blue Jays fans this year.
Nice, cool.
Yeah, they can slug it out.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah,
reminds me of back in the day. Kind of reminds me of 15 and 16. We get down to 5, 6, 7 runs, and it didn't matter.
It was nothing.
We're just one big inning away from being right back in it.
Hey, but you remember one thing: if 15, you can have a great offense, but if you don't pitch, it's going to catch you. Or if you don't play
defense, you need pitching and defense.
Yes. Well, if you look back, remember in 2015, right? We were pounding the ball, and our pitching was solid. Our defense was bad, and Jose, God bless him, Jose had lost his range at shortstop, right? Balls are trickling through there, right? And then we were playing Valencia and Colabello in left field, 2 first basemen that were because and so when then the trade deadline came, we brought Tulowitzki in, and Tulo when he cleaned up that infield mess, and it nothing against Reyes, but he lost his range. He got older, man. That's what happened. Tulo cleaned that up, right? And then Ben Revere in left field. Now Ben's taking away hits instead of balls. It should be. So it just shows you you can outslug, but that defense wins championship. Am I right?
100%. There's time doesn't run out in baseball. You need to get 27 outs, right? And every time you seem like you give like a free base or something, that's when the other team just like they start salivating, and it just like snowballs, right? But when you're taking hits away and you're making plays, it's even the other way. It kind of just like just keeps the opponents from getting any momentum whatsoever. You know what I mean? And it's I don't know. I'm a big believer that pitching and defense is definitely the way. And if offense definitely doesn't hurt, it definitely gives you some wiggle room here. But it's over time and over a season, pitching and defense is premium, I feel like.
Oh, there's no doubt in every sport, man. If you don't play defense, but anyway,
Yeah.
so all right. So what's in the future, man? You know what? People ask me all the time, since I was fortunate to get a chance to manage, who's going to man, if you hit on your teams, who's the next manager in waiting? I said, oh, I don't even hesitate. Donaldson would think it would be him, but no, it wouldn't be Donaldson. It would be you. And I said, whenever Russell's ready, right? And I saw you were on the coaching staff at the WBC Team Canada, right?
I was.
How was
yeah.
that?
It was fun. It was good. It was a good time. Just being around the game. I had kind of been away from the game for a little while, just being at home. I got 3 daughters now, so 4, 3, and 8 months. So
hey,
that's
hey, you finally figured it out, huh?
trying to figure out. Yeah, I probably would be better at managing a baseball team than managing my daughters, but but you know what I mean? No, it's great, man. The family life is awesome. That's basically what I've been doing, spending time with the girls. And I've always thought that, when the kids get a little older, so in a couple years when all the girls start school and stuff, maybe, I get back into it. Because being in the WBC just kind of gave me that kind of like that itch back, that I hadn't had it in a while. Because when I was done playing, the transition thing was kind of easy. I didn't want to play with nobody in the stands, and it just seemed like baseball kind of had lost its excitement for me because it just didn't seem like it was fun. So the transition from being a player to a non-player was really easy, and COVID was kind of like the reason for that. But after being in WBC and being around the game and just having the fans there and everybody excited, I was like, damn, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to be back in the locker room. So I don't know what the future holds, but maybe one day, I kind of progressively, get back into it, and maybe I can be like a special guest every once in a while, and with the Blue Jays or whoever it may be, but I'd like to just, stay in touch with the guys and stay in touch with the game. The game's changing so much. I feel like if you get away from it too long, you end up being like a dinosaur kind of thing.
No, you're right. Well, there's four teams out there, the Dodgers, Yankees, Pirates, and the Blue Jays, four teams you play for, right? 4 of the best franchise in history. You go back, right? And they'd all be smart if they bring you in the spring training, things like that, keep you stimulated, keep you around there, because baseball's been your life. You've given a lot to the game. People need to focus on, hey, nobody's won more than you have, man. You get to the promised land where you're supposed to be, then you give yourself a shot, whether you won one or not. You give the team a shot, and you've anchored all the teams you play for. So, but it's been a pleasure, pal. We appreciate you coming on here, man. Enjoy that retirement, but there'll come a day you'll get back on the field, and I just hope you leave me tickets, man. You can leave me tickets. I'll be your bench coach. I'll be your bench coach.
I'd love to have you as a bench coach for sure. Gibby, guys, hey, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. And anytime you guys need tickets for anything, you let me know. And Gibby, you're the man, dude. I loved you as a manager. You're my favorite, by far, man. Just how you carried yourself, how you were so consistent every single day. You say I was the backbone, but like you were definitely you were the actual glue. You know what I mean? You kind of like kept everybody in line, because there was a lot of characters on that team, and you were able to kind of like, I don't know how you did it, but you kept everybody sane through the whole year in that clubhouse, which is crazy.
Hey, Russ, it's you guys in the show. Sometimes you just got to turn your back, man. Hey, let the boys go do your thing, man. Get out of the way. Because what makes a good manager? Great players, man. Great players.
I hear you.
And we had them, man. But we appreciate it, pal. Hey, go hit them straight today, man.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
All right, Russ. Thanks, pal.